There might be some serious fun in politics. Not everybody is comfortable with the idea that politics is a guilty addiction. But it is. Paranoia is just another word for ignorance. Going to trial with a lawyer who considers your whole lifestyle a crime in progress is not a happy prospect. Gambling can turn into a dangerous two-way street when you least expect it. Weird things happen suddenly, and your life can go all to pieces. The raiders of old were vicious and crazy and cruel. Hanging around their locker room was like hanging around the weight room at Folsom Prison. A word to the wise is infuriating. Fiction is based on reality unless you're a fairy tale artist. Jack Kerouac influenced me quite a bit as a writer. In the Arab sense that the enemy of my enemy was my friend. There is always room for losers in the football business. They are the mother's milk of gambling, and why not? Somebody has to do it, or there won't be any winners. Duke is an ugly word in Kentucky. Nothing in the world compares to the joy of beating those hateful swine from Duke. Of all the men that have run for president in the 20th century, only George McGovern truly understood what a monument America could be to the human race. Nixon was no more a saint than he was a great president. When the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. Buy the ticket, take the ride. The Edge. There is no honest way to explain it because the only people who really know where it is are the ones who have gone over. Yesterday's weirdness is tomorrow's reason why. There are many harsh lessons to be learned from the gambling experience, but the harshest one of all is the difference between having fun and being smart. There is nothing more helpless and irresponsible than a man in the depths of an ether binge. Crazy is a term of art. Insane is a term of law. Remember that, and you will save yourself a lot of trouble. Truth is weirder than any fiction I've seen. All the blood is drained out of democracy. It dies when only half the population votes. The world is still a weird place, despite my efforts to make clear and perfect sense of it. Freedom is something that dies unless it's used. If you're going to be crazy, you have to get paid for it or else you're going to be locked up. In a closed society where everybody's guilty, the only crime is getting caught. In a world of thieves, the only final sin is stupidity. For every moment of triumph, for every instance of beauty, many souls must be trampled. Politics is the art of controlling your environment. Some may never live, but the crazy never die. The person who doesn't scatter the morning dew will not comb gray hairs. It was the law of the sea, they said. Civilization ends at the waterline. Beyond that, we all enter the food chain, and not always right at the top. I am The only difference between the sane and the insane is that the sane have the power to lock up the insane. There is no fool like a careless gambler who starts taking victory for granted. Democracy as a system has evolved into something that Thomas Jefferson didn't anticipate. Victory is a fleeting thing in the gambling business. Today's winners are tomorrow's blinking toads, dumb beasts with no hope. Objective journalism is one of the main reasons that American politics has been allowed to be so corrupt for so long. That was always the difference between Muhammad Ali and the rest of us. He came, he saw, and if he didn't entirely conquer, he came as close as anybody we are likely to see in the lifetime of this doomed generation. By disgracing and degrading the presidency of the United States, by fleeing the White House like a diseased cur, Richard Nixon broke the heart of the American dream. Nixon was a crook, of course, but he was also a rabid football fan, and he knew the game, which still astounds me, but I have always had a soft spot for him because of it. I am surprised and embarrassed. Nixon represents that dark, venal and incurably violent side of the American character almost every other country in the world has learned to fear and despise. Luck is a very thin wire between survival and disaster, and not many people can keep their balance on it.